Hello YouTube, and welcome to the second instalment of the Shunter project that I'm undertaking. I hadn't planned this, but I've been working on it a little since the last video, and thought whilst I'm sat here doing something with my phone I might as well give you a quick update. Now in the last video I apologise, I said I'd try and do these weekly, but I just haven't been able to. The main reason was I couldn't find a kit. Now I was basing this project on the Nightwing kit, and I just could not get hold of one. The local model shop didn't have any. There was one on eBay, but it was heavily overly priced, so I stayed away from that. But luckily, a good friend of mine, who I saw at the weekend at Peak Rail, donated me one that he had lying around, so I've been able to crack on and abuse this kit. Right now, in the last video, I had removed the body, and I got the motor running freely on its own. Since then, well, I'll show you. Still have just the motor, but I've now been able to salvage the LED as well. Now, annoyingly, doing this means I have to keep this circuit board with the on-off switch on, which, well, it's taking up more room within the body, equally making it harder to fit inside. But I think I'll be able to do it. If not, I've found out from the guy who sells it that there is a way of bypassing this circuit board. Now, it may be beyond my soldering skills, and I don't know if I'll be able to keep the LED with it if I do that. I'd like to keep the LED just to add a light to the, as an extra feature to the loco. But we'll see how I go. I've got a feeling I won't be able to have a cab interior like on this one here. I've got the controls and the figure in there. So if I have to get rid of that, then I will have to. But yeah, so I'll do I'll show you it running at the end with the LED working and things. So yeah, that's where we are with the motor. It's there, it's running, it's brilliant, and it also has a working LED. Now to the body. Now, as you can probably see here, the pond on Common Barn has ever so slightly turned into a bit of a scrapyard. I've got all the parts here that I've been, bashing and modifying and whatnot. So I'll just take you through what's been going on. Right now, here we've got the sides, the chassis sides. These have been a bit of a pain to build. Now, if I bring in the original loco, you can see the length. You can see the length of it, and then you can see how much shorter this actually is than the original. It's going to be about an inch shorter than the kit's meant to be. So I've had to heavily modify these. I've had to cut the panels between where these axles are, and then infill them with spare bits of plastic that I've had lying around. And it seemed a bit daft at the time because I was chopping it up and then putting it back together, but I've had to do that to shorten it enough and to keep the parts in that I need. So we've got the axles, and then there's just a spare panel, and then these are the cab stairs, which have been easily halved, and then the panels have all been stuck back together. Now they are going to require some filling. I have to get some model filler to fill in the gaps in between, where I've cut. Then that'll have to be sanded down and painted. But that's no bother. Something I've never done before, so I'll have to do that. So yeah, so they're the chassis sides. The next thing has been the actual running plate of the loco itself. Again, like the chassis sides, it's been modified. I've had to cut it. I cut it down a good, well, about a ½ inch. To make this recess for the motor smaller, and then I've had to cut in these little grooves just to fit around the size of the motor that's going in there. So it's been shortened, both ends. You can see probably a mould line there when I've had to reattach an end. So yeah, so again, it's a hell of a lot shorter than that. You can't really see. You know, it's going on an inch. So that's that. The buffer beams are now attached. Again, these have had to be made short. I've had to sand these down underneath so they're not, you know, rubbing on the rails. But both ends are now done, and it is starting to slightly resemble, you know, a loco now. Or this part is anyway. It's a very neat fit over the motor. Well, I'll show you. I'll take some photos at the end, you know, to show you how it's gone. But it does fit over there nice. And the next thing I'm doing is building the cab. So I've got the cab sides here. This piece here that you can see has got a bit cut out of it. This is the front windows of the cab. So I've just got that groove out just to help fit things, you know, inside into the cab area. And hopefully, you know, I'll have ample room. And really, you know, that's where I'm at. I've got a nice little pile of scrap forming there. I've got the bonnet top ready next. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to widen that somewhat. How I'm going to do that, I'm not overly sure, but you know, all part of the fun. And so yeah, so that's about where I'm at. So there's been lots of cutting, lots of, you know, butchering, lots of breaking, a lot of sort of putting back together. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's something different. Even if I have been a bit nervous. But yeah, I'm cracking on with it. So hopefully the next update, the body, I'm hoping will be finished and on the motor and moving. That's the plan. But we'll just have to wait and see. So right, I'll just put a quick shot on of the body and the motor and the LED and things like that. And for me, until next time, goodbye until the next update. See you later. Bye bye.